Number 1, we've got the amplitude equals 1. Okay, so that's our A, right? And we know our period equals 2 pi. It takes 2 pi to finish one cycle. All right, but now we need to write the equation. So remember, the equation would be y equals a sine b theta. Right, we need to write a sine b theta. We know that a equals 1. Right, amplitude is 1. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm thinking of the other problem. Thank you, Jordan. Amplitude equals 4. Thank you. Amplitude equals 4. Our B, we need the B here. The B, we don't know yet. Okay, so we need B. So the problem is, we don't have B. Does anybody have an idea how I could find B? Is there any equation that we know that relates some of this information to B? What did we use up here to find the period? The period equals 2 pi over, or 4 in this case, which is our B. So if we use that equation, so let's use period equals 2 pi over B. Right? We know that period equals 2 pi over B. And in this case, our period is 2 pi. Right? Our period is 2 pi. So we're going to plug that in right here. Our period equals 2 pi. So 2 pi equals 2 pi over B. All right, we're just substituting right here. Just substituting. Okay, so then we just multiply both sides by B. You can multiply both sides by B. So we get B times 2 pi equals 2 pi. We divide both sides by 2 pi. Divide both sides by 2 pi. So 2 pi over 2 pi, what is B going to equal here? Yeah, and that makes sense because if you look at the graph, remember, this is just a normal graph. It's not going faster or slower. The period is just 2 pi. So now we have A, we have B, so we can plug in, say y equals 4, thank you for correcting me, 4 sine, you could put a 1 here or just theta if you want. You could put a 1 or just theta. It's part of it. You don't have to do it again, obviously. We're doing it together. We're going to graph, let's graph y equals, I'm picking kind of a funky one, negative 5 sine 3 theta. Y equals negative 5 sine 3 theta. Okay, so we've got our A, our amplitude, is 5 with a negative in front. Right? So 5 with a negative in front. Our B equals 3. B equals 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, is it going faster or slower than normal? It's going faster, which means it's going to finish in a short time. It's going to finish in a short time. So we've got that. Everyone go ahead and figure out the period then. So our period, ladies and gentlemen, what goes on top of our period always? What's a normal period? 2 pi over, what letter do I put right here? The B, which is just 3. Right? Just plug this 3 in right here. So we can't simplify that, so that's it. Our period is 2 pi over 3. It takes 2 pi over 3 to do one cycle. 2 pi over 3 to do one cycle. So let's graph it now. So down here you can just kind of make a sketch. Come out this way more to the right. Why don't we go ahead and do 2 cycles? Let's do 2 cycles just so we can see that. Let's graph 2 cycles just for fun. Okay, let's do our first cycle. Let's sketch 4 ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, all the way out here, I should label that. What is? How long does it take again, guys, to do one cycle? 2 pi over 3 in this case, right? Our period is 2 pi over 3. Okay, now I picked some weird numbers. So if we're going to half that, what is 2 pi over 3? Remember, just double the denominator. It's going to be 2 pi over 6. However, I can actually simplify that because what is 2 divided by 6? It's a 1 over 3, right? So I'm just going to cross that out, put pi over 3. And it makes sense, right? Because 1 pi over 3 is half of 2 pi over 3. All right, let's half that again. What's half of pi over 3? Double the denominator, you get pi over 6. Half of pi over 3 is pi over 6. And then to figure out this third one, let's just count. 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, and 3 pi over 6. But what is 3 over 6? It's 1 over 2. Right? 3 over 6 is 1 over 2, so pi over 2. All right, so that's our ticks labeled. We'll get the second cycle later. So our amplitude is 5. We can just label that 5 and -5. All right, let's just do one cycle. So we always begin, Omar, what do we always begin at? What's our value, our y value here? It's going to be 0, begin at 0. We're going to end at 0, and he's going to be 0 in the middle. Begin at 0, end at 0, 0 in the middle. Okay? Now, for sine, normally we go up the Ferris wheel first. We go up. Which way are we going to go this way, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to go down because of this negative. Go down to -5, and then you're going to go up here at pi over 2. All right, that is one cycle. You went down 5 and then up 5. All right, let's do another cycle here. Let's just do 4 more ticks. Just do 4 more ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and to label these, let's just keep counting. 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6. What's going to come next? 5 pi over 6. 5 pi over 6. Okay, what's going to come next? 6 pi over 6. What's 6 over 6? 1 pi, just 1 pi. Then we're going to have 7 pi over 6. And last but not least, 8 pi over 6. But 8 over 6, if I divide them both by 2, we're going to get 4 pi over 3. Good. All right, and then we just do the same thing. Start at 0, end at 0, middle is 0. Start at 0, end is 0, middle is 0. And then normally we go up, but in this case, because it's negative, we're going to go down first, and then we're going to go up here. And that is 2 full cycles of this graph.